Hello everybody, what's happening? My name's Neil, welcome along to Midlife Motors, and today's video is going to be about the Volvo XC40. Now this particular car, which if you've watched the channel you'll have seen around a few times, is 5 years old in a month's time, and the XC40 itself has been around for a while now. In fact, it's due a big update, 2025, next year, whole new model, which means there could be a run of these cars onto the used market. I mean, it doesn't look old, does it? It looks fantastic. So should this be on our shopping list in the not too distant future, there could be some nice prices, there could be some nice bargains to be had. But before we say yes or no to that, let's run through the good things, let's run through the bad things, because there's a couple of niggles. Let's look at the things that you've got to check for, and there are a couple of faults that you need to be aware of. This car, as it sits here, has a fault, which I'll show you shortly. Not the end of the world. I think I might need some advice on how to move forward with it, but let me finish my tea and we'll get into it. Shall we get started then with the heart of the beast? This car is a 3-cylinder engine in this one, a 1.5 turbo, produces 160 horsepower, 200 pound-foot of torque, and it's coupled to an 8-speed automatic gearbox. I think you can get this with a 6-speed manual as well. This car, because of its sort of not too massive engine, it's got no EV in this. This car's quite light, only weighs 1400 kilograms, so it goes surprisingly well. You'll get to 60 in this car in a shade under 9 seconds, which isn't bad for an SUV. Now, this car was purchased with a 5-year service plan, which I think came in at £600, £599, so it's got one more service, and then we'll have to sort of look at some other ways to go about it. Will we go to a franchise dealer, that sort of thing. Now bear in mind with these cars, servicing's not too expensive, particularly with this smaller engine. Spark plugs every 60,000 miles though, and it is a timing belt, not a chain on a Volvo. They recommend that. It's a bit hard to find out. Between 7 and 10 years old, they say, and between 60 and 100,000 miles. So I guess they inspect it at the services and tell you whether or not it needs it. Now, this one I've written down and I'm going to read because I don't understand it, but it's a failure that's been mentioned. I don't know any owners. I haven't come across anybody that's had this issue, but here we go. Axial crankshaft movement due to thrust bearing failure. I've not got a clue what that means. Now, the symptoms apparently are a noisy engine and it struggles to start. But like I say, I've not come across that from any owners. This car certainly doesn't have that. In terms of the engine, the gearbox, this has just had its standard yearly service every 12 months or 18,000 miles and nothing else. You don't even have to touch the oil. Spotless, no faults, no issues, very quiet. 42 miles per gallon out of this car in not the most economical way of driving it. My journeys are quite stop-starty. No issues here. We are back after a shower of rain, but the good thing about that is we can see the lovely beading on the car. Now that moves me on to the paintwork and just the toughness of this car. I've machine polished it a couple of times just to get the odd swirl out of it, but the paint on this seems really tough. There's little or no stone chips on this car. The plastics have stood the test of time really well. So if you're looking at one of these and it's scuffed and it's scraped, I'd probably just walk away. It shouldn't be. People have reported that they go through brakes and tyres on these cars quite quickly. Now, that hasn't been the case with this car, and I'm wondering if with this one it's because, remember when we were under the engine bay, this has just got a lightweight 3-cylinder 1.5 petrol. Now, as the XC40 was developed in its lifespan, it got bigger engines, it got hybrid, it got EV, and I'm guessing it just got heavier. So maybe that's what pushes the wear on these up, if you like. So just check your brakes, check your tires, make sure you've got plenty of meat and tread on them. I'm just going to come around the back now. There's not really any rust to report on these. You don't need to check for that in any way, shape or form, apart from at the boot here. Now let's get this open. This car's got one of these fancy if you put your foot underneath, just on the passenger side here, there you go, it opens up. At the back here, you need to check two things. You need to check that this plastic trim hasn't fallen out, these screws haven't broken, and you need to check that the drain holes are not showing any sign of rust. They're the two things that get reported. For some reason, I love clever boot space design, and this XC40's got a few nice touches. We've got our first aid kit there, we've got a ski flap for longer stuff, and watch this, when I lift this floor up and slot it into its two side bits, we've created two compartments, which is great because it means if you've got any big stuff, any big groceries you don't want rolling around, they can go in the back here, and you've got a separate space which is a little bit deeper. There's a bit of underfloor storage there as well, absolutely bang on. And look, you've even got some hooks to hang things from. This car's got a spare under there as well, so everything is well catered for. The one negative I would have to say, the sill is quite high. If you've got a dog, they might not appreciate jumping in and out of this. Reports also of knocking coming from the suspension. Now it seems the diagnosis is the bearings on the suspension on the top mounts are not adequate enough, and it's most noticeable when you're going over speed humps. General driving of the car, you won't notice it. It doesn't affect the way it performs. However, it is a bit of a pain in the bum. I believe Volvo are aware of this. There isn't a fix as yet, so if you change them, it'll come back and reoccur, and there doesn't seem to be a mileage or an age it happens at. It's hit or miss. Now, fingers crossed, Volvo are working on a repair, and there'll either be an update, it might even be part of a recall, but at the moment it isn't, so just listen out for that. Let's get inside now though, because I think this really is this car's trump card. Look at the interior in this. Again, it's been here, I've treated it, so it is looking pretty good. This one's got the panoramic roof in it as well, which is a nice feature. But I'm 5'10", that's the seat set for me. Plenty of space in the front. Coming around the back here though, you'll be quite surprised. Compared with the Evoque that I used to own, there's way more space in the back. In fact, if I slide in here just now, you can see I've got plenty of room to sit in here, and my headroom isn't particularly tight in the back here either, because the roof doesn't slope away. That's very nice. Sitting in the back here, not much to do or see. Everything is pretty much up front there. You can see the layout. I do love the little glass gear knob there. That's quite a nice feature as well. But you can see in here, it's not worn. It's been looked after, but it really does look fantastic. And no scuffs, no scrapes, no rattles, nothing like that. These cars are obviously really well put together. The infotainment and the drive information up there, all very straightforward, very easy to use, still in this day and age, bang up to date. And we did a video which will pop out just now about what to expect and how to use that. So inside here, there's nothing really to complain about. If I've got a couple of gripes, there's two USB-A connectors up the front there, but there's no C's. I guess that's the age of the car. Although, if we come in the back here, down there, if I lift this, there is a C in the back. So that's a little bit weird. Remember our ski flap that we had? That's quite a nice touch in the back here. Got some cup holders in it. You can just sit back, and if you're in the back here, you're going to get a really nice ride. You're not badly catered for whatsoever. And with this light coloured interior, it's very airy feeling. I've jumped up front here and I've turned the car on so you can see how quiet it is. Now, seating position, infinitely adjustable, got lumbar support as well. Steering wheel will move in and out and up and down, so you'll get into the perfect driving position in this car. The cup holders, I love a cup holder. The bottom one's great, nice and deep. The top one, don't put anything in there because you'll just knock it over and it's freaking annoying. Now, this car doesn't have a wireless charge pad. It would normally be down here if it did have that. A few of the current owners have said that when you put your phone down there, it's easy for it to move and therefore lose its connection, and your phone doesn't charge very well. So that's maybe not a must-have. A couple of strange ones when you're driving the car. If you want to get out of a junction quickly, don't floor it. Give it about 2/3 throttle and it seems to zoom off. If you floor it, I think the gearbox gets a little bit stuck between gears, ideas what to do, should I kick down? It will generally pull off in seconds. So if you don't floor it, then it will do that, and it will do that nice and quickly. Again, with the gearbox, this car doesn't have any paddles. I think later cars do. To change gear manually in this car, you have to scroll down through, pull in this little button here till you get to manual, and then you push it to the left. Sorry, you push it to the right to go up a gear, and you push it to the left to go down a gear. Very unnatural, bit of a pain in the bum. I would search out a car that's got paddles if it was me and I was going for the automatic. I do quite like when you're finished driving, just press P and it does everything for you. It puts the car in park, it applies the handbrake, all that sort of stuff. So that makes that very straightforward. And I do quite like this, the windows have 2 speeds. If you press it gently, well, I've done the one behind the camera. If you press it gently, it goes down nice and quietly. If you press it hard, away it goes. I quite like that. Lovely place up front here. Okay, there's a fault you've got to watch for. This car's got a lovely panoramic roof all the way back there. The front half here, you can probably see the bar in the middle will tilt and it will open fully. However, Watch this when I press the button. Watch the screen. The headlining screen on it has come out of its track. So if you're looking at a car with a pan roof, make sure it's not done that. I'm not sure how I'm going to fix this. I'm going to have a look at it tomorrow. I'm hoping it's just a clip back in job. I don't want to have to get into taking any of this headlining down. If you've got any advice, folks, please let me know, because this is a new one on me, but something to be mindful of. There we go then, XC40 guide, if you like, completed. And yes, I would consider buying one of these cars. The owner of this particular car loves it, and I'm hoping he's going to love the new model next year even more. And if he does, this won't be getting traded. I'll be making an offer for this car. It's a lovely car to be in. It's easy car to use, and I feel a bit more grown up driving around in this. So yes, fingers crossed I get the opportunity to purchase this next year. If this has been helpful, then please give us a thumbs up, and if you want to hit subscribe, that would be much appreciated. I think we'll just leave it there. All the best. Thanks very much for watching this one. See you again soon. Goodbye.